Hey everyone, my name's Austin. I'm a senior product designer at GitLab, working in the compliance group. I'm going to cover a few topics from this week. So I spent about a day and a half, maybe 2 days-ish, refining this blog post. If you're interested in reading it, it's based off of a presentation that was done in a UX showcase several months ago. Kind of just walks through how UX evolved over the past several years. So if you're interested, you can take a peek at the review app. I suspect it will be merged pretty soon. I also started running some unmoderated testing on renaming push rules to source control in the admin area. Preliminary results so far, I've only started running a variable test, meaning I'm testing the change that I want to do to rename source control. Good so far, people have been able to find it really easily. I'm interested to see if when I run the control, if they can still find it just as easily when it was named push rules. So we'll see what the outcome is of that, and I'll keep you updated. Also working on several changes to try and reconfigure our compliance documentation. Thanks, Sam, for helping clear up some errors for me. Definitely want to work with Evan Reed on trying to better structure our docs so that we can make the user experience easier as people start to onboard to more of our compliance features. I've also got a few issues that I'm eyeing for improving SUS, as that's going to be a continued focus moving forward, I'm sure, with OKRs. So trying to get a little bit ahead of that, I'm thinking we could start with audit events. This one's pretty simple. It's just adding a helper text to the input field, clarifying that you can only select 30 days because that's still the constraint that we have there. I know users don't love that, but until we've really resolved how our backend's handling it, there's not much we can do about that on the front end. A little bit bigger of a overhaul would be to the project deletion experience. I'm still tying up some loose ends on how exactly we want these containers to render, but for the most part, it's going to address these design heuristics to better accommodate how users would expect to interact with GitLab. And lastly, I was talking through an idea with Sam. It's an idea that we have at some point in time in the past to make the compliance frameworks the way that we enforce different settings throughout GitLab. So you might have noticed that we have this tension of in compliance, we want to be able to enforce and have them cascade down so that it's not annoying to go through thousands of projects and update them. We want to enforce them at one place. So this is a potential idea I'm trying to pass by the other groups to kind of see what they're thinking. I think this is a challenge for us, particularly for backend, to keep track of everything like this. I'm specifically calling out, what if we had a compliance framework and you could say enforce MR approval rules and settings, but don't worry about protected branches, push rules, and merge methods, and delay project deletion. Yes, that could have some impacts downstream, so I think it makes sense that we only try and keep users in the loop. So maybe a quick aside, but we're thinking of maybe relocating the compliance framework setting at the project level. I'm entertaining the idea of trying to get it into the configuration tab under security and compliance, but being able to show what are the impacts when you apply the SOX label. You're getting a compliance pipeline configuration, you're getting some settings enforcements, just so there's some awareness of why these things are appearing. And then going into some of the designs of how those actually appear in the UI when you apply these changes, it's similar to what we were already talking about, but the only way that this happens is if you have a compliance framework. So at least telling users, if you want to get rid of this enforcement, get rid of the framework, take it off your project. And the way that you do that is you get your group owner to come in and configure it because they are able to manage this section for you. So that's it. I hope you all had a great week and see you next month.